thank you. I'm Drew Barrymore.
Relax, kid. You're gonna be just fine tonight.
Hey, come on. Can I get you a glass of milk, honey?
Milk? I'm a Barrymore. Get me a drink and make it a double.
I didn't want to go off and play Barbies. I wanted to go out to a club and dance.
Did you ever stop and think, none of this would be happening to me if I weren't a Barrymore?
I was a real wild child. And I just got so out of control that no one knew what to do with.
Thank you, Andre. Very war. Relax, kid. You're going to be just fine tonight. Come on, can I get you a glass of milk, honey? Milk. I'm a Barrymore. Get me a drink and make it a double. I didn't want to go off and play Barbies. I want to go out to a club and dance. Did you ever stop and think none of this would be happening to me if I weren't a Barrymore? I was a real wild child and I just got so out of control that no one knew what to do with me, from the innocent face of Hollywood's sweetheart to issuing brutal threats to those who once controlled her life. Drew Barrymore's story is unlike any other. I really didn't know the difference at like 6 years old, hanging out with a bunch of 25-year-olds. I like being around all of people. I felt like I could relate to them better. Why? Just cause they were more experienced. How did Drew go from a bubbly child star to rehab at just 13 years old? How old were you there? At a nightclub? I was like 7. That's not okay. What caused the bitter fallout between Drew and her mother? While I was dancing, while my mom was always on the telephone. Right, she always on the telephone. Yeah, she never gets to a chance to kiss me goodnight. And why is her fierce response to those who exploited her going viral now? Drew Barrymore's rise to fame was anything but glamorous. At just 7 years old, she stole America's heart in E.T. the Extraterrestrial, but behind the scenes her life was spiraling out of control. Her mother, Jade Barrymore, introduced Drew to Hollywood's wild nightlife at an unthinkably young music age. By 9, Drew was drinking. By 12, she was using, and at just 13, she was sent to rehab not once but twice. Drew's raw and shocking confession about being exploited as a child star continues to resonate. They took everything from me: my childhood, my innocence, my voice. Despite these struggles, Drew's resilience is undeniable. She's opened up about her complex relationship with her mother, admitting there were times I thought we'd never speak again. But what exactly caused their relationship to crumble, and how did Drew's shocking legal emancipation at 14 forever change their dynamic? Now at 14, though, you knew to get emancipated from your mother. Yep, which again we hand shook, and it was a very respectful. So 14, date you 14, didn't you go to Crosby's house? I had to live with David Crosby for 2 months, which Drew Barrymore's life turned into a Hollywood cautionary tale. Blacklisted from the industry at just 12 years old, she fought her way back to stardom in her 20s, even though she made an incredible comeback. The struggles she faced as a child left lasting scars that shaped her decisions. How old were you there? At a nightclub. I was like 7. That's not okay. As we dive deeper, we'll uncover the shocking truths about Drew's battle with addiction, her path to sobriety, and how she's using her voice to take a stand against exploitation in Hollywood. Born into Hollywood royalty, Drew's path seemed destined for greatness. Her grandfather, John Barrymore, was a revered actor, and her parents had ties to the entertainment industry, but Drew's father, John Drew Barrymore, was a violent alcoholic who abandoned her early on, leaving her in the sole care of her mother. Jade Barrymore wasn't your typical parent desperate for fame and fortune. She thrust Drew into the spotlight at an early age, disregarding the emotional toll it would take. Thank you, I'm Drew Barrymore. Relax, kid, you're going to be just fine tonight. Hey, come on, can I get you a glass of milk, honey? Milk. I'm a BU. More. Get me a drink and make it a double. Drew's exposure to New York's infamous nightclub scene led to a rapid descent into substance abuse. By the time she turned 10, the lines between childhood and adulthood were irreparably blurred. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of Drew's story is her strained relationship with her mother. Drew Barrymore always had a complicated relationship with her mother. She even admitted in Wildflower that her mom lost credibility as a parent for taking her to Studio 54 instead of school. By the time she was 14, with her institution stay behind her, the young actress really wanted to change her life, but that meant she had to change her relationship with her mom. In her words, the pair had driven their relationship to the ground, so she filed for emancipation. On the day of my hearing, my mother was there in full support of my emancipation, which would mean me living on my own. Barrymore wrote in her memoir via The Guardian, I felt so sad, but too much had happened. The judge walked in and the day went on in a blur. In an interview on Netflix's Norm Macdonald Has a Show via, the actress revealed that becoming an adult at the age of 14 sort of wiped the slate clean on everything that happened prior. I got my is over with at like 14, Barrymore said. Like midlife crisis, institutionalized, blacklisted, no family, got it done, and then got into the cycle of being my own parent. At the time Wildflower was published, Vulture reported that Barrymore had barely spoken to her mother since her emancipation, but still financially supported her. Drew's struggles with substance abuse are well documented. By her own admission, addiction became her coping mechanism for the trauma she endured. In her first shocking memoir, 1990's Little Girl Lost, the actress revealed that she started pouring liquor over her ice cream, as paraphrased by E! News, when she was just 7 years old and got drunk for the first time. at Rob Lowe's birthday party when she was only 9 according to The Guardian. Her mother first took her to Studio 54 that same year and the pair often went to clubs throughout Barrymore's childhood. It was like Disneyland for adults, only I got to be a part of it. We went out pretty regularly, sometimes once a week, other times up to 5 times, she wrote in Little Girl Lost, but nothing was ever enough for me. By the time Barrymore was 11 years old, things escalated. In Wildflower she revealed that she got drunk and listened to heavy metal at a hotel room in Munich while filming Babes in Toyland. When a rock band came through, they proceeded down a path of drunken debauchery by stealing dozens of laundry bags full of clothing per vulture and throwing them into the river from the hotel's balconies. The moment was so egregious that Barrymore actually started to feel guilty and reined it in for the rest of the shoot. At an age where most girls are playing with Barbie dolls or picking out colors for their braces and haven't even gotten their first period, Drew Barrymore was getting into drugs. I didn't want to go off and play Barbies, I wanted to go out to a club and dance. Did you ever stop and think none of this would be happening to me if I weren't a Barrymore? People revealed that she had already been smoking cigarettes for about a year when she first picked up weed at the age of 10, and A2 reports conflict on where the drugs actually came from. People says it was from a group of young adults, while E! News claims it was given to her by a friend's mother, but the main takeaway was that it wasn't enough. Eventually pot got boring and my addict mind told me, well, if smoking pot is cute, it'll also be cute to get the heavier stuff. Like Barrymore told People back in 1989, it was gradual. What I did kept getting worse and worse, and I didn't care what anybody else thought. At the age of 12, Barrymore was nurturing a habit. By the time she was 13, she had undergone extensive drug rehabilitation treatment twice. According to People today, the actress doesn't touch the stuff. On Netflix's Norm Macdonald has a show. The Santa Clarita Diet star revealed that nothing would make her have a panic attack and seem like a bigger nightmare than in a 1989 People cover story. Things were looking up for Drew Barrymore, who had just left drug treatment. Unfortunately, the actress had yet to reach rock bottom, but it didn't take long. By the time her 1990 cover story was published, she'd broken her sobriety, and tabloids were swirling with rumors of an attempted suicide. Things started unraveling when Barrymore celebrated 6 months of sobriety by smoking a joint with her friend. The night ended in a car accident where she cracked her head against the window but miraculously walked away unscathed. The guilt began to eat at the actress, and her relationship with her mother deteriorated. She moved out, her depression got worse, and then her estranged father, who she hadn't seen in 8 years, called her begging for money. Finding out her friends were mad at her was the final straw. I thought, my dad hates me, I'm fat, ugly, I've got no money, I'm living on my own, nobody likes me, I can't stand this, Barrymore said. I grabbed a knife and I thought, well, what shows the most pain? So I went in the living room and I cut. Drew's incident was widely reported as an attempted suicide, but she insisted she didn't want to die. Drew Barrymore's mother institutionalized her following the cutting incident. According to E! News, the then 13-year-old actress spent 18 months in the facility, a long stay that was vastly needed. However much she would have resisted going if given the chance. Barrymore told The Guardian that her mother didn't even tell her she was being committed or she would have run away, but her mom wasn't wrong per Barrymore, because it was finally the thing that helped the never-been-kissed star change her life for good. I realized honestly, yeah, my mom locked me up in an institution, she told The Guardian. Boo-hoo, but it did give an amazing discipline. It was like serious recruitment training in boot camp, and it was horrible and dark and very long. Lived a year and a half, but I needed it. I needed that whole insane discipline. Barrymore added, my life was not normal. I was not a kid in school with normal circumstances. There was something very abnormal and I needed some severe shift. Despite the odds, she managed to overcome her demons. It was so upsetting at first, but over the course of that year and a half I left there like the most